What is going on, Alpha Hunters? It is April 1st, April Fool's Day. There is a move going on in the market that you should not take for a joke. We are seeing, at least on SPY, a little bit of a gap up this morning from Friday's close. A little bit of a rollover here to kind of start the day for the first like 2.5 hours or so. Most have just kind of been hanging out down the lower ends for the past 2 hours. So we'll see what happens. It's not really setting up all that great. We've had two very strong bounces down here at the lower ends of the day on the SPY. And the fact that we came back down and we bounced there again, very strong bounce, I will say that. But we're not continuing the bounce. And to be pretty honest, the fact that this bounce, we're not kind of off of this level. We're still kind of hanging out around it. Kind of makes me think that we will probably fade back down. Maybe we'll see some selling come back in later on. Kind of just the way it looks right now. But, I mean, as anything kind of goes, if it just kind of consolidates in here and pushes up later, maybe. But it doesn't exactly, to me, have a lot of confidence right now in the market. And there's probably a big reason why. We'll get to that. Let's take a look at the Qs. Qs, nice gap up. And the Qs are actually strong on the open here. Nice, very quick 10-minute pop, 20 minutes sideways, and then then it sold off there pretty good. So about 2 hours for about 2 hours there. And Qs, yeah, I mean, it kind of bounced there, rolled back down, bounced about the same level. So kind of looks like that here over the past couple hours as the SPY does. But that morning price action on the Qs, big tech looked like it was doing pretty well. We can see possibly a little later what maybe was driving some of that move on the big tech side, the Q side. IWM a little bit of a gap up, but man, it got smoked there in that first 5 minutes. Currently down about 0.85%. SPY's currently down about 0.25%. Qs are about flat. IWM though, just kind of hanging out at the lower ends of the day. Down pretty good. Had a nice little sell down first 2.5 hours. But it's just kind of been down in that area. DIA, kind of a flat open, sold down for about the first 2.5 hours. Kind of hanging out on the lower ends of the day. Okay. And the DIA is down 0.2%. And the RSP, nice little gap up, sold down, hanging out at the lower ends of the day. So the RSP is currently down about 0.5%. How do these look on the daily? Yeah, we knew they were getting a little extended from these moving averages. We'll see how long. I mean, maybe a 2-day pullback. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell when you're kind of up here at these levels and you're pushing above all the moving averages. So there's the RSP. DIA. DIA kind of has an interesting look to a double top. Even here, an evening star reversal kind of pattern coming in here over the past 3 days. That would be interesting to see that if we got an evening star and potentially a double top here. We'll see how that plays out here over the next couple days. That would be an interesting one. IWM. Yeah, I kind of mentioned this. I'd be bullish on any kind of pullbacks here, especially to start the week in April. But since I said that, it probably just drops like a rock. But I don't know. I'd still rather be bullish here on the IWM. Any kind of pullbacks. I think he's had a pretty good pullback today. Qs, nice little upper wick there on the daily picture. This is multiple days interacting here with the 10. It almost seems like we could just drop off here, especially that upper wick coming in today. So the Qs, they tried to bounce this morning, but man, outside of that first 10 minutes, they didn't really do much. SPY, yeah, I mean, it could be holding the uptrend. But other than that, SPY, just pulling back a little bit today. That's all. Nothing crazy as of yet. So VIX, as normal, gaps up on Monday. It has traded a little bit higher. You don't typically see that on Monday. Typically it gaps up and then comes back down. Yeah, nice gap up there on Monday on the VIX. VIX looking pretty good. We'll see if it starts to rise again or starts climbing again. Okay, DXY, and I guess it kind of would make sense actually if, go back to the VIX here real quick. if we did see the VIX start to climb, right? Because we didn't really see, because like the VIX was climbing for couple months here, and I mean the SPY kept grinding higher. So why was the VIX grinding higher? And then here recently, we've continued to grind higher, really going back like the past 2 weeks, and then that was when the VIX kind of dropped off. So maybe the VIX will start. Maybe we'll see some volatility. Is kind of what I'm saying. Come in. It's like people's, the volatility, the fear index kind of dropped off there. But we, kind of makes sense, I guess. That if that was to happen. Dollar. Look how strong the dollar is. Woo. Dollar looking pretty good. So this is no joke. This is a strong move. Even basically going all the way even back to this day. Remember we were kind of talking about this, that Fed Wednesday right here, this red day, and then the day after, this bullish engulfing on that Thursday. Kind of mentioned like, hey, don't mess around with that candle. That looks very serious, and there we go. There we go. Yeah, that's about all I got there. GLD. Think about that. Gold doing what it is doing with the dollar doing what it's doing. GLD and gold. Said this before and I'll say it again. Just continue to be bullish on any kind of dips. There we go. That's all I got. Now let's take a look at futures real quick. Oh, man, look at that huge upper wick there. I mean, we had one before a couple weeks back. What was that last 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago? That was right after Fed Day. And then, I mean, maybe we'll see a little bit more of a pullback. But you'll probably get your answer here in the next day or two if we just kind of slowly consolidate. And we're still well above the moving averages. Gold, I'd still be bullish. Take a look at the yields, man. All right, so this is one area, like, do not, like, you saw the dollar, that looked really good, but do not mistake this move, and do not be a fool here. Look at that move. We kind of talked about that at the end of last week, like, hey, how we ended last week looked kind of bearish. I mean, we had to bounce back on Monday, Tuesday, a little bit of a, top of a evening star reversal, and then we came back down Wednesday, and Thursday a little bit of an upper wick retest. Like it looked like we were about ready to break down pretty hardcore, and then all of a sudden, look at this week, and it was like you're gonna have Monday, Tuesday, like you needed to see this break down and to kind of really continue that kind of path that it's been on for the past week and a half. But man, that move today, that is a popper, man. That is a popper, jalapeno popper right there. So I would take that seriously. I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to push up here on yields. We start to see some bearishness probably come in on the stock market, because you need to understand where a lot of people and how a lot of people are positioned, right? A lot of people are positioned that yields and Fed funds, right? Everybody talks about the Fed funds, but yields and interest rates will stay at the same levels or go down. Over the course of like 6 months, I would imagine most people are probably still counting on interest rates to go down, and even as you get into next year. But if yields start to do this and climb back up to 5%, that is not, nobody's planning for that. There would be a mass exodus, as everybody would have to revalue everything very quickly. Right? Nobody has planned for yields to go higher. We can take a look at that Fed funds tracker, the CME Fed Watch tool. And let's just go out to December. Right, at least May, you can see May currently hold. Okay, but let's just go out to December. Currently, nobody has us going higher by the end of the year. Nobody. 2% chance we'll be at our current level. There is roughly a 65% chance that we will be 2 to 3 rate cuts lower. 50 to 75 basis points lower. So if no one's expecting us to go higher and yields push higher, I'm, yeah, yeah, people will revalue this market rapidly. If you want to know where the selling would come in from, it's because of yields, and that's why I talk so much about it. All right, 10-2 inversion. We are seeing a little bit of a pop here on the 10-2 inversion. All right, let's take a look at the old 2-year yield. So 2-year yield's popping pretty good too as well. Just not as much as those long terms, which let me just take a look then at the 30. Oh my gosh, look at that 30-year yield. Look at how much that thing's moved. 30-year yield looking pretty good. So when we get to that TLT, automatically we see a pretty good rejection off of that downtrending line that we were kind of been watching. Yeah, 10-2 inversion. I mean, it very much looks like we're going to form this inverted head and shoulders. So we'll see here over the next few days, maybe next couple of weeks, to see if we break this next line that we put up just a little bit higher here over the past month, and we continue higher. HYG, high yield corporate bonds. Jesus. All right. Anyways, HYG. Kind of talked about this at the end of last week, right? This looked pretty bullish. Like we were kind of, we had this pretty good protracted move. We had a very nice kind of basing pattern kind of set up in here, and we were looking really good. But you needed it to get above like this level, roughly in that area, right? You needed it above that. And I kind of mentioned it last week. If we get through there, you're just gonna want to hop on, as this thing would probably just pop pretty good here for like a few days or maybe a couple weeks. But we have a pretty strong rejection. Obviously, yields are not going to follow that path. And this, I mean, this looks like HYG is probably going to break down, right? Because it's been riding this 50 EMA up. We have a huge gap down here on HYG bonds, ETF prices. So yeah, this doesn't look, it does not look bullish at all now. Same thing kind of here with LQD. Kind of has like a little double top feel here over the month of March. That doesn't look bullish either. But the one I want to see is TLT. So we definitely have that very solid rejection off of this downtrending line. Not to say we fully interacted with it, and it's kind of, you get close to it, and it's good enough, right? Yeah, we got a pretty good support level here, which is also where the yields are kind of going to top out at, or where they have topped out at, right? Where they've topped out at here over the past couple of months. So it's, I'd say it's a scary day in the neighborhood, because if yields are going to climb, bonds are going to fall. I'd be wondering what the stock market's going to do, especially if yields continue to climb, because nobody's factoring that in. Nobody's factoring in yields going higher. So, yep, it'll be a fun day if that starts to happen. I imagine a lot of people will be caught in sleeping. All right, take a look here at sector rotation for the day. We have a nice little early move, on tech. That makes sense. Qs are doing pretty good. So energy's outperforming. Communications doing pretty good today. Even did pretty good there this morning there. Tech still doing pretty good, even though they've had a nice little drawdown there for like 2 hours this morning. Materials also doing pretty good, outperforming there. Financials, staples, industrials, utilities underperforming. Healthcare, discretionary is underperforming. Real estate. This makes sense. As yields go higher, real estate gets lower, a lower valuation. And with yields popping as much as they are today, this makes a lot of sense on real estate. So, okay. Yeah, we are seeing some pretty good movement across a lot of sectors. I mean, we got roughly intraday. I mean, we got roughly a 2.5% move between these sectors. Energies are up about 1% intraday, and real estate's down almost 1.5%. So, I mean, roughly a 2.5%, top to bottom for sector performance. But yeah, you can see real estate's gotten hit throughout the day. Discretionary is also getting hit throughout the day. Industrial, staples, healthcare underperforming, financials, utilities, materials barely underperforming there. Tech, so tech did really good on the start, but has definitely come back quite a bit. But communications have held up pretty good, and so has energy. Energy has done pretty well, but communications, look at that. I mean, just nice little pop, a little bit of a pullback there for about 40 minutes. But other than that, it's been pretty sideways. When the market was going down, this thing actually was holding pretty steady, which is, that's that's still generating alpha, I guess. Energies have actually been, you've seen, even while the market's been selling off, energies have seen inflows. So let's take a look at crude oil. Yeah, crude oil looking pretty good. Very nice day on Thursday. Looking pretty good today. Okay, so not doing too bad. Ooh, okay, gasoline not doing as well today. Well, then what is heating oil doing? Heating oil is just kind of hanging out a little bit. But that gasoline move, I always think of the energy commodities. I really preface watching gasoline big time because this is the one, gasoline and heating oil to some extent, but this is the one that really kind of shows you more of the demand side. And if you don't have demand, you're not going to get the follow through in crude oil prices. So I mean, supply would have to come down to maintain price levels. But anyways, gasoline not bouncing today, so that's interesting. I'll be curious to see if we start to roll down here on energy commodities, because they've been doing pretty good so far this year. Energy commodities, or at least gasoline side, has been doing pretty good. All right, let's take a look. See how these big old techie titans are doing. Apple not doing all that great today. Currently down about 0.85%. Kind of talking about this last week, right? If we get back down and just continue to break down after a pretty strong pop there to start March, not going to look, or kind of middle part of March, I guess. Not going to look great. Not going to look great. So that'll be interesting. Microsoft had a nice little gap up today. I don't know what happened there, but it did have a nice little gap up. Nice little upper wick, currently up 0.5% above the 10 EMA on the daily. Okay. Alphabet, nice. Alphabet. Look at the move on Alphabet. That first 20 minutes was really strong. Wow. Okay, so hitting yearly highs right here on Alphabet. So the month of March, first trading day of April, Alphabet is doing pretty good. Remember, the beginning of March, Alphabet was basically negative for the year. Now, a month later, fortunes have changed. Alphabet's up 2.5% on the day right now. Meta's up a little bit over 1%. Nice bounce here. Starting to try to break down here the past couple of days, especially that move there on Thursday. Not exactly the best looking candle bounce back day today. But if it can kind of base in here and push higher here for the next couple of days, maybe. But if it just, it could also just drop off here tomorrow, which I would probably be leaning a little bit more that way, because you're about to have 2 days of closes under the 10 and 20 moving average, which is the first time it's done that in a while. Yeah, it's the first time it's done that in a while. And so I would see how this thing closes today. If it rolls back down, I would be a little bit more willing to take a position over the next couple days, maybe making a move to that 50 EMA, which, it's a solid, from our current price level to that 50 EMA, that's 5% of a move. So that's a pretty good move. It's a pretty good move there. Amazon, nice little upper wick there on Amazon. Nice pop this morning, but it's come back down. It's basically neutral. Not really doing a whole lot. TSLA. Oh, Tesla. Yeah, yields are up. Tesla's down 2%. Not looking the best. All right. Yeah, we'll see what happens here with Tesla. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we got hit pretty good to start the year. I got nothing. I would rather just wait and see how things set up a little bit better later on. I still think we'll probably continue to chop, maybe in an upward direction. Let's see, do we have a little bit of a connection in here? Yeah, we got a little bit of a connection in here over the past couple days. So I think we'll probably break this downtrending line and maybe come retest out here a little bit later on, maybe April, May. All right. NVIDIA. How's NVIDIA? NVIDIA's down 0.5%. A little bit of an upper wick today. That's about it.